Hello, and welcome to a scene for Mage and Werewolf in New York City. Um, Today, Alicia, having had a message from Jericho and a message from the Painted Men about meeting up with them later, has decided to try and get a bit more information on what is actually going on from Jericho and asked him over to her apartment. She also thinks that they need to discuss the node with the warden, seeing as he's supposed to know all the stuff that's going on around here. So she's invited him over as well. Um, she's just given them both a text message saying, asking them to come over as soon as they are free, and she's not entirely sure how long that will take, so she is busy making yet more dog biscuits. The cookie jar having already been filled.
All right. Blitzkrieg would knock on her door. Very patiently wait, almost like military stance, just waiting at the door.
It won't
Kind of
take
looking.
Alicia long to bounce over and open the door. Oh, hi. Good, you got here.
Mm-hmm. But he just kind of looks over her. You can see that he's just standing at the threshold. He's not actually moving yet.
Oh, do you want to come in?
Yes. He nods and he walks in.
And she'll close the door behind him. Right, there's a couple of things that I think we need to talk about because, like you said, you're the warden and you need to be kept informed on lots of stuff. Plus, there's something which I don't know if I need to talk to you about or not, but hopefully I will find out more about that very soon. It really depends on when he arrives. But anyway, first off, you know that thing I was talking about, which was a secret that I couldn't tell lots of people, but as you pointed out, you're the warden?
Mm-hmm. Oh, the node. Yes,
Yes.
I've heard of it. I spoke with Aaron, and Aaron advised me of what was going on. Somewhat.
Excellent. Do you have any questions about that?
I I'm wondering if you are trying to create a separate sept.
We're trying to avoid that at the moment because I don't think there's much in the way of well, let's face it, we're pretty thinly stretched at the Sept of the Green to begin with. And if they bring a whole bunch of elders in to try and set up a new sept, then they're probably not going to get on with the mages that already live there. And then, well, it just causes more enemies and hostilities all around when we've got bigger issues to deal with. So as long as they're not causing any trouble there, I was hoping, and Chasers the Storm seemed to agree, and everyone seemed to think it was a good plan, to try and just protect it on the umbral plane and leave it kind of ticking over. The plan is to try and put a guardian spirit in there.
Okay.
But we can't do it by werewolf methods, because if we do, it'll end up being a cairn spirit, and then it'll be a cairn, and all of the stuff happens. So I'm talking with some of the mages about that.
Okay. And he actually pulls out a cigarette and he's like, "Mind if I?"
Okay, but if you could sit near the window when you do that.
He wanders over to like near the window, sits down, or tries to find a space to sit down, opens the window. You can see that like the cold that should be coming in and like would make most people like shiver is just sort of like he actually visibly relaxes when like the cold comes in and hits him. Anyway.
Would you like some tea, some cookies?
He just kind of looks at her like, yes, please.
and she will make him a cup of tea, and she'll put a plate down with some cookies on. And you might notice that she's taken them from the cookie jar rather than the freshly baked ones that have come out. But then the freshly baked ones look like bone shapes, so it might give you a clue as to why. They also
He
smell
rolls his
slightly of liver.
Yeah, he actually does on some level want one of those, but he's no. So he takes one of the he takes the cookie and starts nomming it while sort of lazily looking out the window and enjoying the cold air.
I imagine that this particular window goes ahead and overlooks the garden or the park, at which point presumably you'd be able to see one particular gentleman starting to make his way through. Sound like a plan?
Yep, sounds good.
Alright. Yeah, you basically see one individual that seems to be sloshing around. You would almost imagine him to be a vagrant, possibly one of your own people. But then again, who could distinguish your people from all the rest of the vagrants and homeless population in New York, which isn't actually that many since recent events and the cold snap.
I can distinguish them. I can distinguish them very easily, but I need to be in smelling distance.
There it is. This man goes ahead and travels the way towards the front entrance of this particular apartment building, proceeds inside after giving a big buzz through an intercom system. He proceeds to go ahead and walk on in. There's a tapping at this particular chamber's door.
Alicia will bounce over and open the door. Hi, Jericho.
He'll go ahead and look at you with an unbemused and unimpressed expression, and simply say, "I almost died last night." Proceed to walk in.
And she will put down a cup of tea and some more cookies in front of Jericho. Do you want to talk about it? Oh, Blitzkrieg, this is Jericho. Jericho, this is Blitzkrieg.
He looks over, nods.
Jericho's a mage. And Blitzkrieg...
She just kind of drops that?
Yeah. And Blitzkrieg is one of my people. So, you know, we all know...
And then he looks at her! And then he looks at her like... Sorry.
He's involved in sorting out the node. If you want to know more about the stuff that is going on with the node and with all the stuff that I'm trying to sort out, because you're the warden, then you need to know Jericho.
Oh my god! Shut up. He takes a really... He puts his hand over his eyes. Then he just takes a really long drag of his cigarette and goes, Alicia, we're going to have a discussion about your discretion. And then he gets up and shakes Jericho's hand. Warily
Go ahead
now.
Shake like, your hand as well.
Now. What were you going to say? And he looks at Alicia.
Well, apparently Jericho met some people that took him to the Emerald Spirit.
And that is...
And we're talking about me, and that is Owen's bar.
Owen of the Painted Men.
Yes.
Okay.
And from the way that he put it, bad stuff was going on. But I don't know the details because you don't put details like that in a text message. So I asked Jericho over because I wanted to know more, and also because I figured you should probably know who he is. So if anything does happen to me, you know who to talk to about what's going on fixing the note.
Maybe a more proper introduction is in order. As you know, this one calls me Jericho. I have another name, public name, known as Jack, that I usually go by. I am just a simple wise man that has apparently found myself in many of your people's schemes and plots at the moment. Sorry that this is such
Apparently.
an inconvenience for you.
It is for now. We'll see how much further this goes. So
You
what
are.
what transpired at the um, Emerald Bar or whatever the hell it's called?
Okay, well, last night, before we even arrived to the Emerald Spirit, I sort of walked into another establishment, a bit closer to, looked over to you, Central Park, which is what I'm going to call it.
That's fine.
Apparently, a group of people there were having a very ecstatic conversation, and I couldn't help but get myself drawn into it. I went ahead and introduced myself with my public name. They introduced themselves as well. Apparently, there was this Owen character. Apparently, there's also Johnny. Two women by the name of Danny and Millie. And I think that's the only people that I remember at the moment.
As soon as you say wait, no, actually I haven't met her. Never mind. Okay, continue.
Like I said, we all had a very elevated conversation. One of the people there had made this trick. He had this parlor trick, this prejudiciation with napkins and straws, and I was drawn into it. I made several comments about it. And apparently, they were also talking about contracting this magician out to. They said it was a carpenter. Yeah. They were talking to this carpenter about maybe doing some more work for them at their particular establishment. And then, for some reason or another, somebody said some words they ought not to. And I realized that very quickly.
What word was it?
Somebody used the word of the child of Gaia and the bone, if I remember correctly.
Do you remember who?
It was the carpenter.
What did this carpenter look like?
Sean, at this moment, I would like to try to perform a Mind One effect to try to remember, since
Okay,
this guy was changeling and all that other good nonsense.
Okay.
Will you allow a point of willpower to be spent on this one?
Yeah, go ahead.
Because this is kind of important.
Considering what he's dealing with right now, yes.
Yeah. Okay, 4 successes. Do you believe that is enough to give an accurate description?
Yeah. Basically, he's trying to pierce the mists for long enough to give a semi-accurate description of the mortal, not the face-seeming. So it should be fine.
All right, fair enough. Yes, a Mr. Esteban, actually.
Okay.
Is that good? All right. I'll go ahead and mark that willpower off my sheet. That man used those 2 words. And I know that those are words that are not supposed to be mentioned in public at all. So I had a very pained expression on my face, because I then realized that I was with a group of the people. And once I realized that my night may take a very bad turn. Nothing to say anything against your people. It's just that when I was around your people every other previous time, I usually had somebody to vouch for me. In that particular instance, I was all alone. Anything could have happened to me, and I wouldn't be able to do anything about it. Understand?
Understood.
All right. They understandably got a little bit anxious when they realized that I noticed the keywords. And at first, they tried to very, very politely invite me over to their establishment called the Emerald Spirit. And trying to keep up as appearances as much as possible, I agreed. We made the trek over, and afterwards things went a little bit sideways. And by sideways, I mean, well, up until that moment, we had a very, very pleasant conversation. When we got to the establishment, things turned very, very hostile and very, very questioning. I believe that... What was his name again? Owen. Owen, Johnny, and a big black gentleman by the name of Too Fresh met us over there, while a Miss Danny and a Miss Millie went ahead and escorted me.
As soon as you mention Too Fresh's name, you see him roll his eyes and take another really long drag of his cigarette.
To go ahead and perk an eyebrow. Is this... That's a name that causes some contention, I believe.
Well,
No.
he keeps waving a freaking gun around.
He, although to a greater extent than my dear Alicia here, and he just kind of rolls his eyes in Alicia's direction, is indiscreet when it comes to matters among our people.
Hey, I'm only telling Jericho because we're working together on sorting stuff out.
I understand.
Our particular relationship is more of a working, extended relationship. Kind of paradigms needed to be shared, at least on the most superficial level, in order to get any work done.
Understood. I'm more concerned about what particularly happened at the Emerald Spirit.
Okay. Once we arrived at the Emerald Spirit, they decided to sit me down and start to question me.
Okay.
First off, they questioned me about my name, and I told them. I told them my public name, and I told them my private name. And once I told them my private name, they recognized it as being associated with Alicia's over there.
Okay. As a note, have you ever told them about Jericho out of character, Alicia? Or
I'm not entirely sure. I don't think I've used Jericho's name.
At least not his full name.
Just trying to make sure. Anyway.
That set off a bit of contention between them. They wanted to know whether or not I associated with Bane spirits or the like. I told them that I was a spirit talker. I talked to many spirits. Those of the modern day, those of long ago, and those of a wild bent, if you understand my meaning.
Mm-hmm.
They were still very, very contentious throughout all of that, still trying to figure out whether or not they needed to do something in order to protect their secrets. I tried again and again to explain that I didn't mean to cause any contention, and I didn't have any intention to spread what I know around, which is, like I said, very, very superficial and required for a working relationship. And then Too Fresh, the black gentleman, went ahead and pointed a gun to my kneecap, which just further exasperated the situation.
What the freaking Too Fresh?
Jericho
He
will
looks
just
over
go
at
ahead and say,
Alicia.
calm down.
He looks over at Alicia and goes, "He will be dealt with."
It's
Continue.
fine. Whatever physical
You
damage may have
actually
been done. Yeah?
hold on. Hold on one sec. Check a thing. Okay, we're good.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
You actually notice his fists, like, because his hands are pretty much on the table. Like, one of them's obviously got like a cigarette in it, and the other one's kind of on the teacup. And like, he pulls his hand away from the teacup real quick, and you actually notice it change shape. It like get bigger and now form into a claw, really briefly, and then it goes back to normal. Like, you can tell he you can see him like close his eyes and his hand like his arm like shift back down to normal.
Okay. That's
He
okay.
goes,
Uh,
he takes another pull on the cigarette, and then he basically like flicks it out the window, and he goes, "Mr. Jericho
mhm.
or Jack, which do you prefer?"
In public, I prefer Jack. In private setting like this, Jericho will do just fine.
All right, Mr. Jericho. I don't know much, if anything, about your particular people. I do know that Alicia here, at least enough to invite you to our home, vouches for you. I, while I am loath to accept her recommendation without additional proof, I can say that I feel my people may have acted unwisely toward you. For
That may
that,
be true. However, there were shining examples of your more merciful natures, actually.
I can
And
tell
your
because
more
you're not.
discerning natures, actually. I
I
was
can
actually
tell
very
because you're not.
impressed by a few of your people that night.
I will discuss that with them. But what I'm worried about in this instance is apparently there seems to be what's the word I'm looking for? A failure to understand that there's a greater purpose to Alicia's involvement with both yourself and some of the other types that run around here. Here's what I would ask of you for our mercy's sake. I would ask that you, at least in your way, try to make sure she does not come to harm. She is both my student and an agent of my plans for now. And he looks over at Alicia to make sure that that's like an okay thing to say. like if those are the proper words to use, he doesn't know.
I think Travis already had the talk with him.
This is not some blustering, if you hurt her, I'll kill you nonsense. I have no time for that. This is much more of a... I don't know what the Painted Men were planning to do, nor do I particularly care. They did not have my sanction to do it. That is my concern right now, vis-a-vis them. Vis-a-vis you, little Alicia. You are higher in rank now, yes?
Yes, I'm a Foston.
You will
Look,
learn...
I trust him as much as I can trust anyone that isn't one of us. he's helped me out, and I've helped him out, and we'd probably both be a lot worse off if we hadn't.
Granted.
There was a very, very extended session this past holiday season where she was able to help me out. Apparently, reindeer is a very, very important spirit creature to your people.
Indeed.
I saved a bunch of flying reindeer. I know it doesn't make sense, but they were flying reindeer, and they flew away, and that was my contribution to the matter. But I wouldn't have known about them if it wasn't for Jericho. I couldn't have helped them.
Well, I'm not discondoning this situation. I'm merely saying that as you, and let's say Alicia, if you are to act in the capacity in which we discussed, you must learn to control that mouth of yours, dear.
She nods. Well, did you have the slightest clue about the node before I told you? I can keep secrets if I know they're supposed to be secrets, and if I feel I can't trust the person that is talking to.
Understood. I'm just throwing around certain terms and terminology. Because if the wrong person catches it, in this case, someone you trust caught it. Next time, we might not be so lucky.
Yes. This is why what you can say in my apartment is different to what we can say in the park, is different to what we can say in a pub.
Yes.
Oh, do either of you want to take a bag of dog biscuits with you? The only condition is you have to give them away free. That's it.
I can do that, but looks over to Blixry. Don't get discouraged by every single person that I may have met. There was actually some fairly shining examples that I alluded to. For her part, this woman seemed to actually not be prejudiced one way or the other. She was very willing to at least listen out to the arguments that were presented. There was also another person that came in later, Contemplates, I think he was. Contemplates was the one that told me that I could leave after pretty much professing that I did not mean the people any harm whatsoever.
Okay. Any kind of, and what is this business with this node?
Right.
Well,
this particular node, it was discovered by a group of my people in the outskirts and possibly at the foot of a mountain, actually. Out of character, I have no idea where this thing is geographically.
It's been moved, but it's all good.
Out of character.
It's been out of character and ST-wise, it's been moved. We're going to nail down the approximate location, but you found it a place.
Yep.
Okay.
It's like, I found it a place. Insert location here, as Jericho continues to say. Apparently, some of your people went ahead and took a look at it and were dissatisfied with the security precautions that were around that place of power, at which point a group of your people decided to move in. I've been working hard to provide a sense of security on the umbral scape, which is what I've been looking into, or at least what I would have been looking into last night, but I was sleeping in the subway.
You notice his eyebrow raise when you mention the Umbra? You can pierce the Umbra?
Yes.
Well, you know how I said we were hoping to get a spirit to move in, but if the werewolves did it, then it would be a cairn spirit, and then it would end up being cairn, and everything would go haywire. Jericho's the mage that I asked to help me with it.
Okay. You can summon spirits then?
Yes,
Hmm.
I'm a spirit talker. I'm a spiritualist. I can awaken things that were long, long dormant and bring them back to life.
Hmm.
Oh, and Chase the Storm woke up three of the large trees that are there. My
Okay.
favourite is the sound of creaking of boughs in a storm. Um, Not that that's actually his name. The name is the actual sound. He doesn't mind if I call him Creaky, but everybody else, that's a big no.
Hmm. He just kind of shakes his head and goes, "One day you will figure out that this is not some weird Disney fairy tale, dear, but I don't want to be there when you figure it out."
It's
Well,
not a fairy tale. It's just plants like me.
apparently. Now, so do you have a timetable as to when this can be enacted?
At the moment, we're in the process of researching a particular spirit that will be uh, amenable to both parties. The people and the wise men currently settled at that place of power.
Well, then I would discuss this. Well, you are effectively taking the correct steps as to not craft it into a a cairn, because yes, as I said, or as Alicia has said, things become complicated once it becomes a cairn. Um, but I would ask that you be careful with the spirits you summon. There are dark entities, our enemy among them, and if, let us say, the painted men got a sense that you were of that enemy, you would not have walked out of there.
Fairly certain that would have been the case. I would have lost much more than I like.
This is why I keep cleansing him. But I think that he attracts, because he works with like dead people a lot, he gains that bad kind of energy a lot. But I keep cleansing him, and he does good stuff. So I don't think it's him.
Imagine this, sir. Imagine that you have a light on a hill. That is the only light in the entire plane. And wind wants to take that light as much as possible. Sometimes it dims, but always, comes back.
Mm.
That accurately describes my situation. I do have very, very much an uncorrupted soul. It's just things like that are candy to certain spiritual entities.
Indeed, they are. So, Alicia, yes, I must, due to your potential for falling to those entities, I must say that you are not allowed to come into the heart of our space, of our place of power. But you may be allowed into the visitor's space. And he looks over at Alicia. You know where that is?
Um, yeah, but what about the
Is
main?
that near the drainage pipe?
I forgot. He has a map. It's on the other side of the river. I'm sorry, it's on the other side of the lake in Central Park.
Okay, fair enough. Because I've been to the drainage pipe.
I'm not supposed to mention which part, but that's fine.
Do
Anyway,
you mean me or do you mean him?
him.
Okay, good. I was gonna
Yes,
say.
I'm disinviting you from. Anyway, he kind of rolls his eyes. Anyway, if you are of indeed, what's the word? trustworthy intent, then I assume, again, that you will be attempting to make sure that Alicia comes back in one piece, yes? From whatever
Uh,
shenanigans you intend.
of course, I don't mean to bring Alicia in any sort of harm.
Mm. And he looks directly into Alicia's eyes and goes, "And you trust him?"
Yep. In fact, given what some of the people have been doing lately, I trust him more than some, not most, but some of the other Gary.
I will deal with them.
Ooh, which reminds me, they want to meet with me later.
You do not meet with them without me present.
Okay. I will let you know.
Whatever transpired last night, they're still your people, Alicia. Maybe you should give them the benefit of a doubt.
Oh,
I
I
could
am.
handle myself in that situation. I mean, I got out alive.
Yeah. Yeah.
Through the... This is not a question of... This is not a question of if I believe that their hearts are not in the right place. And I trust that they are acting in full accordance with our laws and rules. What I'm worried about is that they are perhaps being overly rambunctious, and thus must be taught discretion. We cannot afford to make too many enemies of our surrounding neighborhoods, let's say, not without a great reason to do so. We already have other issues that are more important to deal with. And he goes, "Have you seen the state of Queens lately?" Over to Alicia.
The dome's gone.
She may. Let's see if I may. Are you referring to the storm in the Umbralscape?
Yes.
Yeah, the thunderstorm in the Umbralscape. I heard that your people may have been involved with at least, not necessarily creating the phenomenon, but trying to stifle it as much as possible.
Yes, we have worked to, we tried to remove the entities that created the issue and then shut down what was feeding it. One of my people, I believe, is still there now, attempting to get things back up and running. He's infiltrated their power structure. He's infiltrated the location and is trying to make it right again. But I also know that more human authorities may have to get involved.
And by the way, I did not tell him about that. He has friends that found out that werewolves were involved at the power station before I said anything.
It's fine. If he can indeed pierce the Umbra, then he probably saw it. I'm glad he didn't try to interact with it too much. Death by lightning is a very messy way to die. It tried to kill Lewis. I think he flipped it off. Anyway. I'm going to return to the sept. I need you, Alicia, to contact me when you are going to have a meeting with the Painted Men. We will be doing it on sept ground. And he catches himself the second time he says sept. Fuck. We'll be meeting them on our ground, and we will discuss it from there. Yes?
She nods. I will send you a message as soon as I get a message.
And to you, Mr. Jericho,
Mm-hmm.
it was nice to meet you. Alicia can probably assist with helping you find the right type of spirits to talk to.
I was thinking unicorn might be a way to go.
Maybe.
Maybe black
Unicorn's good.
unicorn, because bit
I
lower
was
down.
actually thinking about that for my own pack, should I find one. And
Well, we've got dog, so
he kind of
As far
You
as
met
I could
Dog.
tell, Dog was a fairly friendly spirit, powerful, but amazingly playful for something so powerful behind it.
dogs. I got nothing.
we played hide and seek. But anyway, speaking of our pack being dog,
Mhm.
no, we did. It was his idea. We played hide and seek. Um, and
It's
speaking
fine.
of dog,
Whatever the price of the spirit is.
mhm, speaking of dog, take this bag of dog biscuits, give it out to any dogs you find, and you know, Lupus, if they want some, it's fine. Just as long as you don't go selling them, you're good.
Okay. I'm gonna go home. I will talk to you later. You have class tomorrow at 1.
Okay.
He gets up. He offers his hand to Jericho.
It's nice to meet you.
It's very nice to meet you. And he nods and he walks out.
Looks over to Alicia. I almost died last night.
And she will give him a big hug that is slightly painfully tight. That kind of a hug.
You're stronger
The
than
one
you
that-
look. You're
the one
stronger
that
than
does-
you look. You're stronger than you look. Let me go. Let me go. Let me go.
And she'll let him go. You know the kind of hug I'm talking about.
Yeah. But I'm still here.
I really don't like Too Fresh. He's a complete ass.
Well, he's one of your people, so work with him, talk with him, console him. I don't really fucking care. Stay the hell away from him, because that's what I plan to do.
I mostly do, but it seems like steering clear of them just doesn't seem to do the job. They have to keep complaining about me when they don't even know the first thing about me.
Look, Alicia. It's. They're more afraid than anything. You've been in the city longer. You know its inhabitants. You've actually went ahead and put yourself out there, and at least to them, you are more connected with the rest of New York than you are with your own people proper. That's what they're afraid of. That's what they're concerned about. They notice that you're stepping out there, stepping with 1 foot in your park and 1 foot in the rest of New York, and they don't know how to deal with that situation.
It's true, but seriously, it seems like whatever I do, someone has to comment on it. Someone has to find fault. Because I don't go round randomly bashing people's heads in for no apparent reason and deciding that the only way to have a good night out is getting into a giant fight with other Garu. I'm apparently a weak link. Like, seriously.
Oh, boys will be boys. Boys want to fight other boys. They want to just. There's no reason for it. They just want to fight. It's a way to just,
Yeah.
pound somebody in without having to worry about consequences later.
This
That's
is
fine.
true, and if they want to do that stuff, I think it's stupid, but it's them. They do that. That's fine. The problem is they then end up treating me like crap because I don't join in. Because I think it's stupid.
Maybe you should. Like I said, you have 2 feet on either side of the park, and when you join It's possible that when you don't join in with the games, they see you edging further and further away from your people, and they get slightly more paranoid about it.
Because I don't want to bash my people's heads in.
It's not bashing their heads in, it's simply playing.
You haven't seen some of these fights.
No, I haven't.
I mean, people need help to walk away from them. Admittedly, we heal ridiculously fast, but that's not the point. You know, when you've got to drag someone away unconscious and help them wake up before they're going anywhere, it's not what I consider fun. If they want to challenge me to Monopoly, that's fine. There's the chessboards in the park, we can go play that, it's fine. It's when expecting me to beat up my fellow Garu to prove that I'm Garu enough. It's ridiculous.
Your people are very, very strong. Your people are in a, from what I understand it, a desperate fight with many, many enemies on all sides. And when they don't see you practicing with them, what can they think?
I practice.
Maybe you should show it. Maybe you should display. Maybe you should show them that you're not somebody to push over.
I practice. And, I mean, class tomorrow at 1. That's practicing. You go there, you learn stuff. It's not about hurting other people.
Well, if it's
For
not
goodness
about
sake.
hurting other people, if it's not about fighting, there has to be other ways you contribute to the people.
I do. I contribute a lot. I mean, admittedly, I can't tell them that I found the node, but I did. And I helped to find out about the Black Spiral people under the city, and, you know, mutants in the sewers. I was on the crab ship and warned them about the Skinner. But, you know, whatever. Actually try and help people instead of just seeing who can piss the highest.
It's usually the people that do the most work that are least recognized. It is that way in most other places. Let this fall off your back. Just remind yourself of what you have accomplished, and keep reminding them of your accomplishments as well, your contributions, or contribution, I should say. Look, you seem a little bit stressed about this.
Yeah, and really, I shouldn't let it get to me, because like you said, it's just the way things work a lot of the time, and you have much more reason to be stressed about this than I do. I'm really sorry about that, by the way.
No. It's no problem. Things would have if things had escalated. Well, things have escalated. I really didn't have any plan, but if I got hurt, I could recover.
You shouldn't have to.
It's the state of the world.
That doesn't make it right. Just because it's the way things are doesn't mean it's the way things should be.
Look, I could bounce back. You've seen me bounce back. Actually, you haven't seen me bounce back. You have seen maybe me bounce back. Remember when I got run over by a reindeer? That was interesting.
I hugged the reindeer.
I know you hugged the reindeer. The reindeer liked you a lot more than he liked me. I haven't slept. Or at least I tried to sleep last night on the subway. I've got a shift I need to run off to. Are you going to be okay?
I'm going to be fine. Are you sure you don't need to sleep? If it makes you feel safer, I can stay around doing stuff. I mean, I'm not sleepy at the moment, but if you wanted to sleep here, I can continue making biscuits, or, you know, just be out in the park.
Just one second. You got coffee running, right?
No. I don't keep coffee. I told you this last time.
Tea?
Tea tea I have, and the Pro Plus tablets, the caffeine tablets. They're basically the equivalent of a cup of coffee each, except you don't have to drink the foul-tasting coffee.
Right. Bring me a few of those pills, and Jericho will go ahead and take that tea saucer cup, I assume, that's still on the counter? Okay.
Yep.
Good. Bring me a few of those tablets. I'm going to do something.
Okay, and she'll bring some of the tablets over.
Alright, Jericho's going to bring out a scrap piece of paper that looks like the receipt at a gas station. Fuck my life. Go ahead and place it on the counter. He doesn't have his magical murder bag at the moment. And he's going to go ahead and start to trace out some Ogmic runes. He's going to take his time with this. Basically a simple mind life effect to get rid of his drowsiness. He's going to go ahead and pop a few of the pills into the tea, drink it all up, see if he can't start his day. Thank you.
That's okay. I should probably see about getting some coffee in, but I don't have a coffee maker, so it kind of seems a bit pointless. I mean, I could get the instant stuff, but that stuff is like even more vile than the usual coffee stuff.
Jericho checks the wristwatch on his arm. Yeah, I gotta go. Sorry. He's gonna go ahead and give you a quick little hug, kiss you on the forehead, and then he's just bolt for the door.
Alicia will let him go and pound some more cookie dough with a bit more effort than it really should take to pound cookie dough, while grumbling under her breath about too fresh for a while. And there the scene will end.